Hey, Mike here from Showboys. We're excited to bring you Showboys Gaming, a YouTube channel created for you to enjoy our exclusive gaming content. Anything from live streams to gaming videos will be found here. Go subscribe now so you don't miss out on any Showboys Gaming content.
Hi, I'm Becca.
And I'm Mike.
And we're the Courtneys.
We're the hosts of a new marriage and relationship centered podcast called Couple Conversations. We're not here to give marriage or relationship advice, but instead we're just going to have some honest and thought-provoking conversations about our relationship.
After 10 years of marriage and the chaos of parenting, business ownership, and being content creators, we thought it was important to focus on dating each other and keep the spark alive in our marriage so when we're old and wrinkly, we still enjoy each other's company.
Each week we'll be going through a series of questions to have honest conversations about our relationship, as well as occasionally be joined by other couples to hear their stories and advice. We just want to share the things that we've learned along our journey and remind you all to continue to date your spouse.
So join us every other Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, beginning October 8th, and join the conversation.
Hey, Nick from Showboys here, and I want to invite you to become a member of the Showboys Discord. Our Discord is the one-stop shop for all things Showboys, from announcements to fun conversations, and of course, memes. Come get to know the Showboys staff and our growing community of pop culture fanatics. We have something for just about anyone.
Hey, Mike from Showboys here, and I wanted to let you know about the Showboys merch shop. Go check out our classic collection featuring our classic Showboys logo. You'll find a variety of products ranging from phone cases to tumblers and coffee mugs, and of course, t-shirts and hoodies. Head over to linktr.ee/showboyspodcast for the link to the shop. So what are you waiting for? Head over to the Showboys merch shop, help support the podcast, and grab yourself some Showboys swag.
Hi, my name is Civ, and I'm a proud partner of the Showboys stream team. I'm what you call a variety streamer. What that means is I play a bunch of different styles of games, from platformers and shooters to fighters and survival horror. We rarely play the same games twice, and it's normally a game I don't know anything about. What this means for you is fresh and interesting content, live on the regular. And if you're the kind of person who prefers to watch at their leisure, we have a YouTube channel where we upload content daily. I mean, with so many options, why haven't you joined the civilization yet?
What's up, guys? Chad from Showboys. Just wanted to remind you that we have officially launched our Patreon. Head over to Patreon and check out the exclusive content offered for each tier. From the ability to recommend a topic for the show, exclusive Patreon-only episodes, the chance to appear on an episode as a guest, and much more. With tiers starting at only $1 a month, you can help support our growing community and help us continue to bring our amazing content directly to your lovely little ears.
Hello there. How's it going, everyone? My name's Mike. Thank you for joining us here tonight on another episode of Showboys Podcast. I'm joined, as always, with my good friends Nick and Chad. Chad, how are you doing tonight?
I am great. I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. Can you tell?
Oh, that sucks.
Can't tell. Why would you do that to yourself?
I know, right?
Were you out
I know.
saving the world?
Saving the world. I
Saving
was laying in
lives.
bed pretending that I was saving the world. Just couldn't sleep, you know. one of those nights.
That's even worse.
What about you, Nick? How are you tonight?
Doing good. Got my bunny ears on for
ready
Easter.
for the Easter holiday. It looks like.
Yeah, you know, nothing too crazy. Stopped by the Lego store, Sir Troy's Kingdom, right around the corner from Chad. Picked myself up some pick-a-bricks. They have a little brick bin where you can kind of build your own bag of
Nice.
bricks. So that was fun. I always enjoyed doing that.
Brooks.
Get your bricks here.
It's pretty cool that you can just go pick up stuff.
Yeah, there's
you
just
know?
like a giant table full of loose bricks.
Yeah, like what if you need what you're missing?
Right?
A three banger. You're
That's
like, I
right.
could just go pick a brick.
Yep, pick a brick. They need an actual Lego store down here though, so there can be a pick a brick wall. Because then you can like get like a single piece, but get an entire container of them. Gotta go all the way to like Beechwood for that crap. It's not cool.
Yep. So if you saw during the ad block, we had this was crazy. We had an underfunded scientist yo spotting at 8:41 p.m.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Early.
he was in here. He was ready to go.
41. Wow.
I wonder if he's still here though. Ugly Kid Joe Cross says, "Meow?" Question mark. Cat style.
Meow.
What's up, dude?
Rabbit.
He wants to know, Chad, where's the headgear?
Yeah, I know. I didn't bring anything down here with me.
Unacceptable.
Unfortunately.
But yeah, hello, Joe and Underfunded. Hope you guys are having a good Thursday today. But yeah, I was playing a little triangle strategy before we got on here. And can I just talk about it for like 5 seconds?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
It's a period piece.
Yeah, technically it totally fits in with the theme tonight. You know, I was really excited to try this game out. I'm like over 3 hours in and I've had 3 battles.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a major disappointment.
Well, I mean, here, man, welcome to old school RPGs. That's the way they go, especially in the early game. You're going to get far more, but they got to like lay the groundwork, you know?
Yeah. It's taken them 3 hours to lay the groundwork. So the battle I did right before I jumped on was pretty cool. And BioCiv, shout out.
Shout out.
I was venting to him earlier and he was like, "Oh yeah, they say you can like basically farm the practice battles up."
Yes.
And if you go into your encampment, there's I think they're called brawls or something. I don't remember what they're called, but you can do like practice battles. And I did like 3 of them. I doubled my battle amount tonight, doing some practice battles. And those are cool because you grow levels and you like still get items and money and stuff from doing the practice ones. So that kind of balances my lack of action in the game so far. But I was telling him earlier, I'm like the lack of action's kind of making me want to stop, but I've already invested over 3 hours in it, so now I just got to see it through.
Yeah, I kind of felt that way too. When I finished Ghost of Tsushima, I started playing that and Dragon Quest XI, the demos for it on the Switch, because I was thinking that I was going to rewatch Game of Thrones, and I wanted a game to go along with it. And to be honest with you, Triangle Strategy is literally Game of Thrones in a tactical RPG. But yeah, I kind of felt the same way. It's very slow. I do appreciate that nearly everything is voiced in the game, which is really cool and rare for a RPG, a JRPG at that. And I don't know. I kind of liked Dragon Quest XI a little bit more, I think, just because there's more to it. I don't know. It's got more soul. I probably just have to get further into Triangle Strategy. I'm not sure how long the demo lasts. if it's like a timed demo or if it cuts you off at a chapter or how that works. But I don't know. It got good reviews, and I loved Final Fantasy Tactics back in the day, so it really reminds me a lot of that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like so excited for it. And the story's kind of cool. I'm invested at this point, and like you said, the voice acting. All of the main story like parts, which man really helps a lot, because if it wasn't, I would have been out already.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But they have like these exploration times, like before or during or after like main story moments where you can like explore the town you're in or whatever, and you can go talk to you go talk to like the townspeople and what. That's not voice acted. You have to actually read those. But
those peasants,
they don't deserve voice acting.
Yeah, I dig it. I like a lot of the ideas. Like, I watched a couple of reviews, and I like a lot of the ideas that they're doing with the game and a lot of the stuff that's coming. It's just getting to that point that's proving to be the difficult part of it.
Bio says, still sucks that you can't just roam in battle.
Game sucks.
But luckily you can go to your encampment like literally whenever you want, and you can like do the practice battles. But I don't like how they're just like practice battles and basically are meaningless, except for grinding experience and stuff like that. So like it doesn't have weight on the story, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Meaningless.
What battle did you finish at? Where are you at?
I finished the tourney and did the battle there, and then they have you pick. Like you talk to your team and decide, like they vote which
okay, cool.
So
you saw that. Okay, so you saw that. That's what I was talking about, the like convictions thing where you can sway the vote.
That part's really cool. Like there, you have like the whole decision choices in your dialogue affecting the game and how people view you, how your teammates view you, all those things, which is pretty cool. But yeah, my team decided to go to the land of the salt. I forget what the Hyazant or something.
Yeah.
So we went to there, and then I just did like a pretty big battle in that kingdom. And then I jumped in here, and Nick was making fun of me because he was hearing the voiceover while we were waiting for you to jump in, and made me feel bad, so I shut it off.
I also don't want you playing your Switch while we're podcasting either. It's ultra rude.
I only do that during meetings.
So you're a little past me. I just did the tourney. I didn't get to the voting thing. Yeah, I'll get back to it eventually, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And shout out North Canton Library. Totally
shout out
from the libraries.
That's wild because like I get that they have a lot of games, but that game just came out, didn't it?
It was pretty recent, that's for sure.
I think it was like literally the beginning of April.
It kind of sounds like
beginning of March. So I guess
still
enough
like
time for somebody
to
beat it.
A little over a month.
Kind of sounds like a direct to TV or direct to video kind of thing.
Yeah,
it must not be a good game.
To the library.
Yeah, can't even sell it. Just got to give it away for free there.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah. So now that we're like 15 minutes in, I should probably do all the house cleaning stuff that we do at the top of the episodes, and then we can jump right into our topic that we kind of already jumped right into.
I mean, shout out last week's episode. We kind of skipped all that. We like did a abridged version. We just dove right into last week's episode. And last week's episode, it was
really good.
Really good episode.
Yeah.
It might be my favorite. I'm not going to lie.
I mean,
his name is Jake, right?
Jake, yeah.
Yeah, Jake was awesome.
And that art's so good too.
Wow, dude, it was fantastic. Yeah.
Art was great. The topics you guys talked about. I'm not like, I would say like mildly might be an overstatement of my interest in that topic, like Japanese folklore and that stuff. Not that I wouldn't like it. I just haven't been interested in it. But I still enjoyed that entire episode, and like the things that you guys talked about were super cool.
Brew, you're
and-
here. You're a huge Pokemon guy. You're automatically a Japanese dude. You just have to embrace it. You know?
Right. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Any gamer nowadays, and gamers that grew up with the games we grew up with,
Mhm.
they're Japanese people. It's just the way it is. Everything that we played that was good back then came from Japan.
That's
so
that's true. That's true. I should rephrase that. I have yet to get as into like samurai and that whole subsection of
yeah.
like entertainment and whatnot. But he is like super knowledgeable, and the stuff that you guys talked about was fascinating to hear. And yeah, it looked like you guys all had a blast, and I'm just was sitting here sad. Psych. I was enjoying my night off. I haven't had a night off in a while, and it was nice. And it was cool to just kind of I started to get sleepy, around probably like 10:45 or so, and apparently that was like halfway through the episode.
It's about right. Yeah.
you guys hit out that Showboys record, man.
We did. Yeah. It was around the hour 45 mark. You peeled off. I remember that. It's okay.
Joe says it was my favorite.
Nice.
Joe, you're our
that hurts,
favorite.
Joe. That really hurts. Is your favorite, and I wasn't even on it.
Does Joe know like the inside joke that I always praise the episodes you're not on? Maybe he's in on that too.
He's in on it. He
No,
doesn't even know it.
I feel like there's just, I don't know, maybe that's just destiny. Destiny is all, and apparently
Destiny is all.
doesn't involve me. But no, that was a good job out of you guys, and great job out of Jake. I'd love to have him back on and talk about Pokemon.
Good job out of Chad. He basically led the whole thing.
Good
Rocked out.
job. Yeah, Joe says no, but I'm noticing a trend. Me too, bro.
You're sharp. You're sharp.
Me too.
Sharp kid, ugly.
Mike, I started to get sleepy about 9:15 and said, F it, I went to bed. Yeah, that's pretty much what I did last week for sure. Yeah, we have to say thank you to our lovely patrons, and especially our top tier patrons, Yusuf H and Tim B. Thank you guys so much for your support, and everyone else that is kind enough to donate their hard-earned cash to us here at Showboys to help us continue to produce the best quality content that we can for you guys. If you're interested in learning how to support us, or what rewards and perks and benefits you might get from supporting us, you can head over to patreon.com/showboyspodcast. Check it out. We have 4 tiers starting as low as $1 a month. You can support the show. We have what are some of our rewards? We got cool stickers. We have patron exclusive episodes every month. We have
and I do want to shout out. I did quite a banger with my 8-year-old son on Demon Slayer on the Patreon. Might I add?
He's a natural.
So, he really is.
Really is. I was cracking up listening to it.
He's more prepared than we are.
Oh yeah,
100%.
For sure.
He was just like he was love. It looked like he was loving it. Like he was just in the zone.
Yep.
It was almost like a Between Two Ferns vibe too. Because you guys were, just kind of like caddied on the sofa there, and you're just kind of interviewing him because he had all the knowledge to plug.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he does. It's so funny because we did. I think it was like Monday night. He wanted to do a Demon Slayer quiz on YouTube where they just show you the one eye of a character and you have to guess it. And he got all of them right, including their Japanese names, full names. He would rattle them off. And I'm like, dude, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's the train dude. And he's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, gee, bro, how do you remember this crap? I can't even pronounce it, let alone remember it.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, you don't want to miss out on those. Yeah, we have a bunch of other perks, too, including, if you're in our Discord, you may have noticed some really cool fancy pixel versions of ourselves. They look a little something like this. I don't know why mine is Chad right now, but Yeah, our top tier patrons, after a certain amount of time there at the top tier spot, you can get your own custom pixel art. I mean, how cool is that? Um, if you're listening and you're like, I don't even know what the heck Patreon is. It's just a really cool site that allows you to crowdfund projects that you find valuable, entertaining, worthy of your support. So go check it out. We also have a merch shop. Link is in the episode description. I gotta do this so our marketing manager doesn't write me up after this episode. But got the nice little Showboys hoodie going on tonight.
Plug.
So it's so soft and cozy and warm. But we got everything from phone cases to coffee mugs to hoodies to t-shirts. The weather's warming up. Sun's out, guns out. Get one of those classic tees. Yeah, that's all I got. Go check out our merch shop. Join our Discord. Check it out on Patreon. What are we talking about tonight, Nick?
Man, we are revisiting a topic I couldn't even tell you. Period Piece Part 1 was November 9th, 2020. That's an oldie but goodie, and that I believe it's an audio only, right?
Yeah.
So taking it way back.
That was before me, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was November, so that was only we were 2 months old as a podcast going in there.
Yeah, so one of the first things Mike and I decided was worthy enough to talk about, and that's period pieces. And early on, we decided that period pieces were a favorite of ours around here because also around that time, I feel like in the late 20-teens, whatever you want to call them, they really kind of started cranking them out, as Netflix kind of got their footing and Hulu started to do it. Everyone kind of started, sniping the classic period pieces. But what has happened is I think a certain type of period pieces come out on top of late, and we're probably going to talk about that at length this episode. But we can't escape the Vikings.
No, much
everywhere
like
go.
The English couldn't,
Yeah, they had to just breed with them, and now they are one people. That was their only way out.
So yeah, we're gonna jump into part 2 of period pieces, and this will be fun because it's our first time intentionally talking about it with Chad. So I'm excited to get his views on the genre, and of course, some of his favorites. I wondered, as you were talking, Nick, I was wondering, like, did they just kind of ramp up in popularity, or did we just kind of start noticing them? It's much like the conversation I have with my wife a lot about not to like put a damper on the podcast, but our world's a little crazy these days. There's lots of sad and disturbing things happening all the time in society, and we often, being parents of young children, talk about the state of the world we're raising our children in. And I always wonder, like, is it like worse than it's ever been, or are we just like now more aware of everything that's happening because of things like social media and like 24-hour news, and everyone has a camera in their pocket? So taking that approach to the topic of period pieces on TV or the big screen, are we just now noticing them more because we like them? Similar to like, you have a red car and you just notice people driving red cars all the time.
Yeah.
Or have they did they notice that one took off, and so now like the trend is let's make these historical dramas? Is it like which one do you think is happening?
The way I look at it is that obviously period piece movies have existed forever. You have like the original 300. I forget what that's called, but that's like from the 60s. So those have always existed. So you can't really get around that. But I think what started to happen was in the 2000s, the History Channel and like Discovery Channel, things like that, they started to dramatize their, their history pieces a little bit
Yeah.
more and more. And those were obviously naturally shows because they were on TV. So I really do think into the 2010s, 20 teens, whatever you want to call them, that obviously this shift to where shows are so much more prevalent with streaming and everything, that it did become more of a thing, especially after 2015. Because then you have like Game of Thrones came out that obviously blew the world open in terms of like, oh, you can have swords and axes and all that kind of medieval like stuff and it be insanely popular. Yeah. Right. And I think that's also a lot. We've talked about this recently too. Like that's what everyone's trying to do is like, what is the next Game of Thrones? Like, they definitely, I don't ever see that tagged with like space often or fantasy, or no, definitely with fantasy, but like space and stuff. But I think truly they did become more popular in recent times. And
Makes
Vikings
sense.
have stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old Vikings.
What say you, Chad?
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. I agree that they've been around for a very long time, even before the 60s, these things were coming out. But it does seem like they're more popular today, and it might be just the fact that I'm more interested in them. So I see a lot more of them, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's probably a good combination of the two.
Right. Yeah.
I've always
and for the record,
movies.
And for the record, the world that we're living in now is significantly better than it's ever been.
Yes.
So have you ever watched any of these period piece movies? It was horrifying, bro.
As a whole, it's net better, right? Obviously, it looks scary, but also from what perspective is it scary? Like it's still the world that we get scared of. Like we're still like,
I mean, like
in our basement.
We don't have to worry about the Danes coming and raping and pillaging our village.
Yeah, right.
Just because they want to. Well, I mean, I guess we don't, but maybe like other countries.
There are places in the world that are
worry about that. So I guess
very
that probably is just me kind of putting my foot in my mouth there. What's new?
Yeah. No, I mean, there's obviously places in the world that are very not good. That's not to say the entire world is better, but net, like, it is pretty good. But I always think about this too, like Roman times. Obviously, the peak of our civilization at one point or another. There's been a couple peaks, but I like to think that, like, even socially, it's the exact same crap, right? Like we all think that like there's too much information, everyone knows everything or thinks they know everything, and politics are crazy. But I mean, it's kind of like more of the same. Like none of that's net changed over the past like 4,000 years. You know, however old you think the Earth is, like it just hasn't changed. Like people are still people.
Yeah,
right.
Until I see like someone gets stabbed on the Senate floor. And
like
murdered. I think we're doing better.
Right.
They tweet at each other, like they sneak diss each other in tweets. Like that's our current political drama.
That's so funny.
No one's getting Caesared.
Right.
I think whenever we decide to branch out and make host specific merch, Nick needs a shirt that just says net.
Net.
So I thought it might be cool to maybe, I think we kind of dove into like why we like period pieces so much in that episode long ago.
But I do want to bring up one question before we get started, because I don't know that I've ever listened to that episode. What qualifies as a period piece? If something took place in 2007, is that a period piece?
We did discuss that, so you should go listen to the episode.
Well, I can't do that right now, so I kind of need it for my answers. So.
Anyways.
I would say anything that's not like current day.
Okay.
Where they like strive to recreate that environment, or I mean, period pieces aren't limited to just history or past. Like The Expanse is a period piece technically because it's in the future.
Right.
We
At
talk
least
about
that's
Stranger Things being a period piece, technically. Like,
Yeah,
it
it's in
totally
the 80s.
encapsulates the 80s.
Yeah.
Sorry for those of you that don't think the 80s is that long ago, but
40 years, rip.
40 years.
Yeah, is that kind of what you think, Nick? Can you add anything else to that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the more distinct it is from our current reality, present day, the better. Obviously, like a 2015 period piece is like a little stretching it, unless you can really like dial in on something about 2015 that is way different.
Yeah.
So, and maybe that's a big thing about like the allure to period pieces, because it's how were things different than today, or how could they be different in the future?
Right.
Versus like if you just kind of had a show or a movie from the 50s and it just looked and felt and was basically present day minus a few things, like, yeah, you're not really hitting the mark.
Yeah, that's
Whereas
true,
like
definitely.
a good period piece, like, it really pulls you into it.
Yeah.
And like you believe it.
I would say ones that people might not automatically think of as period pieces. Stranger Things, like Nick just said. We talked about Mindhunter, that serial killer FBI show. I mean, that took place in the 70s, and it was like really had that 70s vibe to it. Those are really the two that jump out right off the top of my head. I'm sure others might pop in as we discuss, but like, what do you like? While we were talking there too, I was thinking about The Expanse, right? It takes place in the future, but like almost everything that takes place in the future is just labeled sci-fi.
Yes, true.
So like, should we limit period pieces to be historical?
I don't know. I don't think so. It's kind of an interesting question, because when I think of a period piece, I think of in the past. I don't like, I would never put Interstellar as a period piece, even though it's technically falling under the categories that you guys are discussing. It's discussing a time that isn't here yet versus a time that is past.
I think the technical definition of a period piece would be something like a take on a historical event or time.
Yeah.
But I like to stretch it out to be like kind of what we were talking about, something that encapsulates like a period in time, like a vibe, not only just events that may have happened.
Right.
An object or work that is set or strongly reminiscent of an earlier historical period, which is like the period thing. I think if we wanted to like really get abstract, we could be like, technically, if we knew this was an actual future, that is going to happen, you could then do it. But otherwise, it's fiction, because the
Science
future
fiction,
is
yeah.
fiction as far as we know. Now, if for whatever reason we did have time travel actively like happening, we could be like, no, this is legit a period piece of like 50 years from now, everybody.
Yeah.
Biosiv says, nice. So Mike, you need to watch The Newsroom. That's a period piece. It goes back, covers topics like 9/11 and such. I forget where did The Newsroom come up, because was it in Discord?
Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah, that's right, because it's on HBO, and I remember saying, "Rip, I can't watch it because I don't have HBO."
I'm watching
Bio
it.
Always makes fun of me for not being able to use the computer.
Yeah, that's another thing that commonly get picked on for too. It's not being able to use computer.
Yep, booming over here.
Big booming.
So now that we kind of set those parameters, as usual, Showboys we have to,
on the fly,
bend the boundaries here a little bit. Have you guys been watching anything of late that would qualify? I know I sure have. But what about you guys? Nick, do you even have time to like do anything besides work?
It's crazy. I love Kyle because I always complain about not being able to watch movies, and I feel like we got almost to the bottom of that. I think it was on the newscast I said it. It's just because I can't buy in because it's not worth it, these characters to me, because I'm only going to know them for an hour and a half or 2 hours, and then poof, say that just isn't worth it. So the reason I like shows is because I'm invested in these characters for a longer period of time. But it wasn't the length thing. Like, I guess that was the wrong way to approach that, because I watched like 4 seasons of The Last Kingdom in 4 weeks or 3. Like,
Nice.
I think it was 4 weeks. I wish I need to find probably the chat or text to you telling you like I started it, and figure that out. But yeah, I
So have you
ran through
seen
that show.
you're through season 4?
I'm done with season 4. I actually started
Oh.
episode 1 of season
See,
5
of
because
the
I just
5th
wanted
and final season.
I wanted to get the feel of it, right? Just so I know kind of what's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
But it's still Vikings.
Yeah, it's still
They're
Vikings.
still Vikings. Yeah.
But there's a little twist at the beginning. I really like that. There was a little bit of a early twist
Mhm.
there. So that's a really good show.
Yes, it is. What about you, Chad? Have you been watching anything?
Yeah, I was watching Blade of the Immortal. It's an anime that is a samurai anime, so it kind of falls into this category. It's obviously very fantasy. I mean, technically, right, Game of Thrones falls into this. No? Because it's reminiscent of a previous period,
So
which it is. It's based around a actual war. It's just very fantasized, right?
yeah. What's our favorite Orlando Bloom show on Amazon Prime, Mike?
Carnival Row.
Carnival Row. So we talked
Shout
about
out.
this
When are we going to get
last
season 2?
time, and it reminds me of what your comment here, Chad, in that Carnival Row, completely fiction, right? Like, it's got fairies, it's got like kind of like a steampunk future going on, or past, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's super like 1800s base. So like what they wear, the streets, the setting, like you're basically like 1800s England, but in a future sense. So I get that. I feel like there are heavy elements, right, of Game of Thrones that are capturing like a medieval times thing. So I think just as much as anyone would want to say like, oh, this sci-fi show is a period piece, we can stretch that into like complete fantasy.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're counting Stranger Things, and that's definitely not taking on any historical events.
Whatever. It's got Russians.
Yeah.
Got the upside.
Rusties.
You never been to the Upside Down, dude? I'll tell you
Dungeons and
something. I've been
Dragons.
there. I've been there.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I think it's great. Amazon did it, and I think 2020. It's a remake of an old anime. I think it's fantastic. And then I am spiraling off of a samurai kick, so this is literally all I've been watching for the past like month and a half, 2 months is samurai stuff.
This
so
looks sweet.
Blade of the Immortal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
cool,
like it.
man. They did a live action movie that, for whatever reason, didn't get good reviews. I personally love it. I don't know if that's because I watched it before I watched the original anime and I don't have like a tie to the characters, or
Right.
if they screwed something up. But I think the live action, it's the same director that did 13 Assassins. It kind of big director in Japan, Takashi Miike. So, yeah, I don't know, dude. I just I think it's cool. I get a little hung up on anime that, and I don't even know how to describe it in anime terms, but I call it like trippy, where it just feels like you're on an acid trip the whole time you're watching it. You know what I mean? It's shit's just going crazy.
That's my favorite type of anime.
Yeah, the new.
That's what
the
sold me
new-
on Attack on Titan from like episode 3 on. Like,
Really?
I'm just basically like tripping balls. Like, that's what that show is all
interesting.
about.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't
yelling.
like that. I don't like that. I tried to watch Shigurui, I think it's called. I don't know how you say it
That
exactly.
sounds fun.
It's another samurai anime, and it's just a little too trippy for me. Like, there's just a lot going on, and it's super cool. The visuals are cool, but it's just like there's a lot going on, and I wish it wasn't like that, because the story's really cool, the animation's really cool, the characters are cool. It's just the way they piece it all together. I was just not jiving with it.
I'm gonna watch this Blade of the Immortal.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
And actually, I think Samurai is something that just works better for me. Like those types of characters in anime, right? Just because you can be more extreme. It's kind of like the Dragon Ball Z effect. Like it's hard to make a live action Dragon Ball Z movie because ultimately they're flying around and doing super inhuman things.
Yeah.
Samurai kind of carry that like I mean, obviously they're kind of inhuman as it is because they're like mass murdering machines.
Right.
But the styling effects of that kind of stuff just lends itself better to like games and anime.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's why I enjoy really out of every, and I've watched a whole heck of a lot. I don't want to say every samurai movie ever made because that's impossible probably, but I've watched probably 70% of them. Dang. And I think that's what draws me to those Rurouni Kenshin movies the most is because it's just a kind of fantasy telling of a samurai story. Like, are they fighting how samurai actually fought? Absolutely not. It's absurd, over the top Hollywood action.
Yeah.
And then that coupled with the oldest movie in that series, I think came out in 2014. So they're newer. They've got our special effects from, the 2010s. So
yeah.
I don't know. I know I bring it up so much on the show. I just want you guys to watch those movies so bad because they're so badass. I love them.
What are they called again?
Rurouni Kenshin. There's 5 of them, I think.
This is 13 Assassins?
No.
Oh.
Rurouni Kenshin is the name of the movie.
Oh, the name of the movie.
Yeah, I'll drop it in the chat.
I thought it was the director.
No. That's the name of the movies. It's based off of an anime as well. But the anime is like from the 90s. Yes, they're live action. And dude, they're just really good. I don't know.
What are they on?
They are on they are starting to make their way onto Netflix. Netflix released the English dubs for the 2 newest movies.
Cool.
And I think Funimation is kind of being absolved into Crunchyroll. And that's where the other 3 movies are. But I saw the other day that the first Rurouni Kenshin movie is on Netflix now. So I think they're eventually all going to come over there.
Very cool.
But yeah, I'll drop it in the chat because it is kind of hard to spell.
Nice. Biosiv says, I watched a really enthralling period piece. 17th century Scrumpet was trying to make enough money for her hungered child when she met an upperclassman. It's called Do Her Hard. Boo. He also says, Chad, have you ever seen the zombie samurai movie Versus?
I have not. No, never even heard of it.
Interesting.
The name of the
Mike's
movie
attention.
is Versus? Yeah.
Wow, I would not have guessed that's how you spell Rurouni.
Yeah, that's it. That's why I said it's a little difficult to...
Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah, so I have been watching the 2 that stick out are probably the last 2 series. Well, I shouldn't say series because one just started but the other one did just finish. I tend to watch a lot of period pieces. If you've listened to the podcast for any amount of time, you probably have come to learn that it, like Nick said earlier, it's a favorite genre of the show. So most likely if there's a new one out and it's any good, one of us or all of us will have watched it. So that means we've probably talked about a lot of them, in our regular What's Watching episodes where we catch each other up on what's watching. So I will only talk about these 2 because I haven't talked about them yet. The first one being Vikings Valhalla, which have either of you, I know Nick has talked about it. I don't know have you seen it yet, Nick?
I have not started watching Vikings Valhalla, but I just know of it in context to Vikings.
What about you, Chad?
I've not, but I am intrigued. I watched the trailer. It looks very good, but I feel like you probably have to watch Vikings first. Maybe that's a misconception.
You don't, because I have not seen Vikings, and
nice.
I watched Valhalla, and everything made sense. I made sure to ask our actual Danish friend, Tim, the one Viking that Nick and I actually know in real life.
Wait, he identifies as Danish?
Yeah, dude. Have you ever? Well, do you remember what he looks like? He basically
Yeah.
looks like a giant Viking.
I mean,
he acts like a giant Viking.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like a stretch for like.
No, he identifies as a Dane.
Okay.
At least that's what I'm saying.
All right.
I mean, come on. Do you remember the playlists he would link us?
Yeah. I used to always assumed he was an American that just like was strongly enthralled by like his long ancestry. I just feel like he has to be like maybe he has like near relatives, like living relatives that are Danish. Then I would be more likely to be like, okay, he is Dane.
But anyways, he has seen both Vikings and Valhalla. And I asked him several times, I'm like, do I need to watch Vikings first? And he's like, no. And then I would ask him again, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I'm sure. You don't need to watch it. So I went ahead and watched Valhalla. And it was pretty good. I would say in comparison to Last Kingdom, though, it kind of seems a little cheesy. I enjoyed it, but I don't know if it's one of those things like in, if we want to go back to talking about games, like one of those effects where like you played World of Warcraft first, so like every other MOBA sucks, or like you played League of Legends or Dota 2 first, so you think the other one sucks. Whereas like both of those games are really good, obviously, because they're
it's the Uncharted. I call that the Uncharted effect. If Uncharted 3 came out first, everybody would love Uncharted 3, but because 2 came out first,
whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know if like that skews my perception on Viking shows, with Last Kingdom being like the first one that I really like got into. But I do also think The Last Kingdom is just like a fantastic show. So Valhalla compared to Last Kingdom, I would say it's definitely a notch below, maybe 2 notches below The Last Kingdom. But if you haven't seen The Last Kingdom and you've watched Vikings Valhalla, you'll probably love it and think it's like the most amazing Viking show ever. With that being said, I also did finish up the 5th and final season of The Last Kingdom 2 nights ago, and I'm still deeply saddened that it's not returning. But
did it get canceled or is it done?
No, they finished it up, and I believe there's a movie coming called The Seven Kingdoms or something like that.
Dang, I didn't realize there were that many seasons of that show. I feel like I thought there was only 1 season of that show. I'm way behind, apparently.
No, there are 5 seasons, and they are all on Netflix, so go check it out. Uhtred is the man.
Uhtred, son of Uhtred. I haven't seen Valhalla, but I've seen Vikings original. And now I'm glad I've seen The Last Kingdom, so I can kind of frame out what's what about them.
Joe Cross says Valhalla is so good.
I hope it is. And my guesstimate is that it's going to go for me like The Last Kingdom, Vikings, Valhalla. Because
really interesting.
I loved Vikings, but the problem is cohesively as an entire series, it really kind of starts to fall apart in the later seasons, really, because like some principal characters are no longer like centerpieces. But as the first 3 seasons of Vikings is so good because it tells a very much different story than what The Last Kingdom is telling. And I think that's the big difference between these shows and maybe how they're poised as one's better than the other. Because like Mike said, The Last Kingdom cohesively as like 5 seasons is such a good show. Like it's a good show. It doesn't matter that it's Vikings. It's a really good show for many other reasons than just the Viking stuff. Whereas Vikings, the show, is super good Viking show story about where they come from and how they started, because Vikings takes place like the first season or two. They haven't even gone to England yet. They don't even know how to take the long ships over the ocean yet. So it's kind of
Ooh.
like a really early days before they became what they are known as, like, by the English in the Last Kingdom. But then there is some overlap and stuff. But Vikings is a really good Viking show, whereas the Last Kingdom is like just flat out a really good show.
Yeah, that makes sense. I definitely want to pick a Viking show because I do still have Assassin's Creed Valhalla just sitting there waiting to be played and waiting to be spun into a kick for me. So
That's good.
I to be honest with you, I didn't even know the Last Kingdom was Vikings. That's how little I knew about the show. I thought it was.
It's Vikings with a strong English preference, because it's all
it
about the
definitely
rise
is
of
from-
England.
Yeah, it's definitely from the English point of view.
Well, I
and
dig that because the Valhalla, I think, is about the invasion of England, right? Or whatever they call it. Pretty sure, at least.
Valhalla, at least not yet in the one season of Valhalla that we have.
I'm sorry. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is what I was talking about. Yeah.
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
could be. I think the other thing that you pointed out before, Nick, between Vikings and Last Kingdom is Vikings is more like mythical, whereas Last Kingdom is geared more towards the historical. Like, obviously, it's not like 100% historically accurate.
Close,
but they do, I think, strive to get as close as they can while still making it an entertaining drama series.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of, again, I haven't seen Vikings yet, so I still will probably love it, but I think that's what makes Last Kingdom also so good, in my opinion, is I don't know, just seeing the more like historically accurate, in air quotes, version of the invasion of England and the Dane and English conflict and all that stuff.
Yeah, because Vikings, the thing too there is that their history isn't like exactly recorded, so it has to be mythical, and it lends itself more to that aspect of it, very grandiose and mythical. Whereas the Last Kingdom, really, they did such a good job of creating this character who is a real person in history, but not anything like what he is in the show.
Yeah.
But the primary character in the Last Kingdom, basically, they kind of tell it as if he's kind of written out of history. And it like that video I linked to you, where it's like the actual history of the forming of England.
Mhm.
It's exactly what the show goes through. They just do it in a much more entertaining way than likely these short, boring English people did it way back then.
Short.
I mean, they were shorter than Chad.
Whoa.
It doesn't take much.
Yeah, and I love just the premise of the Last Kingdom. Like, we probably talked about it on our first one, but like Uhtred, the main character, he's a Saxon, who is born to the lord of a town called Bebbanburg, and they're kind of like on the coast, and they get raided by the Vikings, and the Danes just like decimate Bebbanburg's army, and Uhtred snuck out to the battle and ends up getting captured by the Danes, and then like taken on as a slave, and then eventually like gets like adopted by the leader of this Dane group that came over, and is raised as a Dane. So he's like originally Saxon, raised as a Viking, and then like sits in this weird middle ground throughout the entire show between both sides, and it's just it's so
Very good.
So good.
Very good show.
I don't think that's exactly what happened though. Like, I think he was just straight up Saxon, like none of that Dane garbage in real life. I was talking to Joe though. Pretty sure I was talking to Joe. I talked to too many people. But I was saying like how weird it is to like be watching these shows and just you like. I mean, obviously, it's a forced perspective, right? You're following in Last Kingdom largely Dane oriented character, so you're going to be like rooting for the Vikings, but like all that we know about Vikings really is they're very brutal
Yeah.
people, right?
Right.
But like here
It's
I am watching this show, like hoping
rooting
they
for 'em.
pull through. Like,
Yeah.
come on, guys, you can do it. Raid harder. Not saying the English didn't have their faults, because I think that's a thing that the Last Kingdom does well too. Honestly, like after this, I'll get off the Last Kingdom's like sack, because I'm going real hard. But I think they do a good job too of showing both sides of the conflict and how like both sides are kind of like giant scumbags most of the time. There are like redeeming people on each side, but largely like both sides kind of suck and are terrible people.
Well, I mean, the cool thing about it though is the Saxons, the Danes, all those different cultures that just decided that they want to make England their home, are what makes up England, because the Saxons are from Germany. So like even they invaded, murdered all the Britons that were the natives there, and decided, oh, this is our land, right? So
Yeah.
at first, like I started thinking about that. I'm like, are they even like really from there? I'm like, no, Saxons are from like Germany anyway. So like so you can't even claim like home turf, rooting like, oh, I'm rooting for like, because they're the originals. Like, no, they're not. No one is here apparently anymore.
Yeah.
The one character, he does say like, he's Britain, the later pastor or the later priest, he's Britain. So like there are Britons around, but the island is inundated with Saxons and Danes.
I also just love like Danes that's just such a cool word. Like I just love it. Joe says, I did not know Last Kingdom was about Vikings until Mael. I don't know. I'm just gonna told me to check it out since I like Valhalla. Viking show, bro.
And I remember this. So Mike, remember the show you made me watch like 3 episodes of in your basement?
Yeah, it was The Last Kingdom.
No, it wasn't.
100% was The Last Kingdom.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, what was it?
You made me watch the comedy one that's on Netflix. The
comedy
one that's
Viking show.
It's Norsemen, but it's a comedy. Like they're just dinguses. It's like called Northmen or something like that.
No, that's a movie.
That's a movie.
About.
Yeah, it looks.
No, not that movie. No,
really good.
No, I don't ever remember watching that.
Dude, you watched it and you said how funny it was.
No, you're thinking about Ryan Zaleski.
No.
100%.
No.
100%.
Just no.
Because I recall vividly.
Show?
I made you watch the first episode of Last Kingdom, and you made me watch the first episode of Nightfall. That's what I remember.
The name of the show is Norsemen.
Yeah.
And how long ago did this little encounter happen? Because this might solve our issue.
3
How many
years
years?
ago?
3
Shoot,
years ago.
So when we built this bad boy, and you had to like come, like
correct,
make Windows work or something.
Yeah, you can't install Windows.
Yeah, because our Dane gorilla friend who actually put it together just like put it together, and before it was done, he's like, "Oh, gotta go." In his defense, he does live in Columbus and was at my house in North Canton, so he
gotta go.
Did have to go, so he wasn't driving at like 3 a.m. But
him smash.
Yeah.
Well, I was hoping that would solve our issue, but I was looking at the most recent season, came out in 2020. The first season aired in 2016.
Yeah, no, I am pretty certain that Ryan Zaleski, not to keep saying his last name, but because I remember him talking about it at The Office, because the Viking kick has been going for a while with us, and I remember him talking about Norsemen at The Office, but I've never watched it because Sorry, Ryan, if you're listening, but most of the things that he recommends, I just like goes in my
Ouch.
brain garbage.
Ouch.
He's a nice guy. We just like slightly different things, you know. We just have different tastes. That's all. It's okay. But yeah, those are the two things I've been watching period piece wise. Chad, you got to watch Last Kingdom because I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah. I definitely added it to my list. It sounds very intriguing.
It's awesome.
Plus, Uhtred's accent is awesome.
And it's also very exciting when I find like a kick that I've never been into before. Instead of doing samurai for the 17th time this year, it'd be cool to do something different. You
Have
know?
you ever stopped?
That's
Samurai?
why that's why. No, not really. That's why I'm
you've
so
been, like,
excited.
Samurai, and then you played like Fallen Order, which is just Space Samurai.
Space Samurai, yeah.
It's Space Sekiro.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Yeah, it never really ends, but there are times where I'm more engrossed in it. And by engrossed, I mean every aspect of my life revolves around it, and that's
he
what
comes
I'm
downstairs
talking
after he
about.
wakes up with like the samurai helmet on.
No, but I have a kimono sitting right over there, so close enough.
His wife's like, I cannot
Yeah,
be seen
yeah. So, yeah, I definitely. That's why I'm so excited for the Harry Potter game, because I've never watched any of those movies. It's going to be like a really cool, fresh retake, fresh kick to be on. But the Viking one is really there for the taking.
Yeah,
might have to.
There's a lot
do
to
it.
go on there.
There is, and I enjoy that, and it's all in English, I think, which is always a plus.
yeah. If you do go back and listen to the first period piece episode we did, Chad, there are a handful of good like foreign shows on Netflix that I talked about. Barbarians being one, which isn't really Vikings, but is very similar. I believe it was like a German show. The English dub isn't terrible. That show is really good.
It's like Roman.
Yeah, the Romans and like German tribes. It was super interesting. But yeah, like I've been back into the Viking craze and found Assassin's Creed Valhalla on sale for like $20 or something like that, and picked it up. Though I gotta say, like, I have to like play it through the do you say Ubisoft or Ubisoft? Like, I want to be correct with you guys.
Ubi,
okay. It's in their launcher, which sucks, and I wish it was
oh yeah.
I wish I would have bought it on Steam. But
you can modify your the settings in the folder to circumnavigate that, I'm pretty sure. I do that for Civilization. They have a 2K launcher, but if you like tweak something in the config file, which might be a little bit too much for you boomering over there.
It's like, well, config
100%.
file.
I can't even Google stuff, Nick. Come on.
Do I have to open my computer up?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't want to do that.
You have to open your computer up, pull out the vanilla folder from the CPU, and get your white out. Get the white out.
I'm literally Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller in Zoolander, like trying to get the files out of the computer. But yeah, I picked up Valhalla. It's the first Assassin's Creed game I've played. So I know nothing about Assassin's Creed games, but like it is so cool to just run around as a Viking and do Viking things.
Period piece simulators
and parkour as a Viking.
That's what those games are. They simulate being in a period piece.
Yeah, dude. It was like the opening of it was super fun, and then like I'm sailing not really. Well, I guess technically sailing my little long boat, and then I like see an island, and it's like, do you want to raid this island? And I'm like, yes, I do. So I did, and it was awesome.
Does it ask you like first, like, do you want to raid this island? Additional options. Do you want to rape and pillage as well?
No, it's not that realistic. But yeah, I it's like my off-stream game. I'm only 1% in according to the launcher, so
yeah. I played a little bit of it when it launched. I can't get into Assassin's Creed games anymore. I don't know why. It's
They
just the
changed the
same
hitbox.
stuff. Yeah, did they?
Well, yeah,
Oh.
it's not like target based. It's like hitbox based. So like your weapons have a hitbox radius. So if an enemy is just within the hitbox, they get hit and take damage, opposed to something like Fallen Order, Sekiro.
Yeah.
Like you have to strike your opponent. It's more like you just kind of swing your weapons. Like if you get like a really long pole arm, you can just wreck in those games.
That's always my hang up with those, is that it just I don't know. It's like it's such a stark difference from like Ghost of Tsushima, where
Yep.
you can feel every strike
Yeah.
and you hear every strike, and it just feels like you're actually fighting. And then you play any Assassin's Creed game, and
I mean,
you might not even be hitting him, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? It just doesn't feel like you're hitting him. It doesn't sound like you're hitting him. It's got that World of
Yeah.
Warcraft combat to it, is
Yeah.
how I always describe it. And that's my hang up with most of them.
See, Biosiv gets it. The files are in the computer.
duh.
Which, by the way, I made the mistake of showing my wife and some of our friends who are younger than I Zoolander, and like they all fell asleep, and I'm just like sitting on the couch, like crying,
laughing yourself.
Oh my gosh, dude, that movie is so funny. I love Zoolander. They did not. I
Clearly.
was alone. I was alone in that. But I will say, Zoolander 2 sucked. But yeah, so are there any other particular pieces you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, I got a couple, but go ahead, Nick. You go first, bud.
No, I was probably gonna just peel into like the direction you're gonna go in. So I did the homework for this episode, and I watched 13 Assassins.
Oh yes, I didn't think you did. I wasn't even gonna bring it up, to be honest with you.
Well, Chad, I'm not an oath breaker like you think I am.
Yeah, I mean that's
y-
up in the air.
Yeah,
You
so
have
you're
my word.
I didn't say how long it would take me.
It's true.
Sekiro.
That's true. You didn't specify how long it would take you to beat it.
I'm impressed, like as far as I've gotten. Okay, so
He turned it on.
I
Yeah,
turned it
he
on.
made it
I
to
got
the
to the
first mini boss.
first mini boss and got punched in the face really hard.
Yeah,
Um,
with the sword.
it's so hard. Can you turn the difficulty down on that game? Like, is it
No.
possible? Man,
No.
it's so
It's
it's
not
so
like
weird.
Control. You just can't.
Oh,
just
my
gotta-
God.
turn on one hit.
The
KO.
classic thing with From Software games that all the fans say is you just have to get good at the game.
Well, you know
There's
what?
no
The most
difficulty.
popular Elden Ring mod right now on the PC is Easy Elden Ring.
Oh yeah, here it's funny because it might have started before Sekiro, but it started to pick traction up around Sekiro because a lot of people wanted to play Sekiro and they were like demanding an easy mode, and From Software is like, no, very simple,
No.
no, we're not doing it. And then a lot of people thought they were going to do it with Elden Ring, and they didn't do it with Elden Ring. I hear Elden Ring is a little easier because of just the
Yeah.
setup of it. You
Right.
can run away from stuff because it's an open world. So
I like how they're just like, yeah. Remember, we said no. So no.
yeah,
We're not doing it.
It's not a patch. It's not coming.
Not happening.
Biosiv says, I have legit been playing Ghosts since Monday on silent. Don't need volume to complete. Which I also have. Yeah, I don't know if you guys tuned into any of his Ghost streams, but I have some sad news for you both.
Yeah, he doesn't like it.
Biosiv
Not
did
shocking.
not like Ghost of
He's
Tsushima.
boring. He's bored.
Not shocking. It's probably because he was playing it on mute.
Nah, he said that before. That he just thinks it's boring.
He
like,
did
falls
say
asleep.
It's impressive that you could get bored in that game.
he did say to me earlier today or yesterday that after beating it, like with the world opening up, like it's a blast now. He's like, I love it now. And he's been going hard, like trying to get trophies and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Which I was like, that's funny because I remember you saying you didn't like it, but now you do. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I can feel why he says that because that's the first thing I do when I replay the game is I just knock the story out if I'm replaying the story. Because I just want the world open and I just want to wander. You know what I mean? It's just a freaking cool world to exist in. And I just want to like travel the Japanese countryside as a badass samurai. So the story kind of inhibits that by locking the zones on the map.
That makes sense. He also says there's a brutal Elden Ring mod as well, which sounds terrifying.
Yeah. Sounds not fun.
Yeah. I will say that's what I've enjoyed so much in my 1% playthrough of Valhalla is the Assassin's Creed games appear, this one at least, since I've never played another one. Like, I don't know. It appears just wide open. Like I think I can just do whatever I want. And so I'm just literally wandering around.
Yeah. I mean, those games have become much more focused on just beautiful worlds, absolutely beautiful, gorgeous environments, and wandering in those.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like the first game, they need to go back to that because that was a great game. The more
it was a platforming, linear,
linear type of deal.
It was more like basically they need to make an Assassin's Creed Sekiro. Like From Software needs to make an Assassin's Creed game, I guess.
Yeah. Chad and I
speak of the weeb, and he shall appear. Hopefully, that's not offensive to you, sir. But he says Chad and I play games similarly.
Yeah,
Lamau. Thank you, Jake.
Stick around because I think we're about to break down some 13 Assassins. Yeah.
You missed the big Viking talk, but now we're probably on to some more samurai stuff. So that's all I got. I just did Valhalla and Last Kingdom, and I think Nick, you just are kind of cruising through Last Kingdom, and so now we're on to Chad, right?
No, we are on Nick.
Mike's in such a daze.
just I'm gonna start a hashtag in the Discord.
Sorry,
hashtag let Nick host.
Hashtag not my host.
Let Chad host. King Weeb.
King Weeb for sure. Yeah.
I was saying at the start of the episode, I was sad that I missed you because you guys had a great episode.
You remember he is pissed at you.
I know, dude. That made me laugh out loud when I was mixing the audio version of the episode. I'm like, oh, what'd they do here at the end?
It's great. And did you I do want to ask something that is kind of in the background of our episodes, but did you edit that to that point, or is that literally when it stopped and then it just takes forever for it to pop up on the screen that it stopped?
Talking to me?
Well, yeah.
No, I mean I didn't edit anything. I just edited the broadcast.
Because you hit stop on the way after that comment, or it popped up way after that comment. But in the actual video, it stopped right when you clicked the button. So you know how we're always like,
oh, that's good.
waiting for it to stop. Yeah.
So yeah, it recognizes the end broadcast on time.
On time. It just doesn't pop up on the screen.
Even though it takes a solid 30 seconds for it to actually end on our. Interesting.
Clean end to that. Then there's Mike who just forgets to hit end broadcast.
Yeah.
Right.
The best
hashtag
not my host.
Exactly. I'm gonna be fired. My favorite struggle to find the big red button in the top right corner was the Letterkenny cold open.
Yeah. That was awesome.
But one couldn't squint both eyes. Apparently, I could only squint one, and then I'm waiting for Nick to hit the button, and I'm like, that was rough.
Rough. But yeah, it's my turn.
So Nick, why don't you go ahead and take the floor, sir?
Yeah. So of course, Last Kingdom, fun. Gonna be watching that. But yeah, I watched 13 Assassins because we talked about it.
Very nice.
Last week's episode, of course, and I'm trying to play Sekiro, right? So there's that, and I've been on a mild Japanese kick, mostly because I just hang out with Chad, and he tells me to play games, and all the games he tells me to play and movies to watch are Japanese samurai things. So I watched 13 Assassins because I didn't want to let him down. And it took me 3 nights to watch this movie because I just can't watch movies. Apparently, like my brain's broken. But I had to break the first half of the movie into 2 nights because of how much setup there is and like dialogue and like. Of course, it's later at night. I'm watching it too, so I'm just like dozing off with subtitles, which does not work well because it's like, oh, I can
Right.
read this from my
Yeah.
eyes. You wake
Yeah,
up, you're like,
right.
I don't know what's happening. But I knew because I was like powering through the second session. I was like, no, I know this is gonna get like wild. Like I can see it coming. And then like the last hour of the movie is just like fantastic. And it gets really fun there in the middle, obviously, when they're traveling, right? Because we love movies where people just walk the whole time. Lord of the Rings made a lot of money.
Yeah.
It works here as well. They run into some fun characters. But then I was so pleasantly surprised at how the last 30 minutes like takes form. Like, did not expect any of that shenanigans. It was
Yeah, man.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Though I do want to watch, or I'll have to find someone who's done it. Maybe one of you two know, Jake or you, because they said there's 130 left. Is there actually 130? Because I felt like there was like 300 people they had to kill.
Yeah. I can't remember how many, because I thought they did mention how many of
It's
them
130.
there were.
Yeah, it's
Is
like
it one? Okay.
200, and they're like, okay, so now there's like 130. I don't know how
Yeah.
they came up with that number, but like all the action, like I was like, dude, like they've killed way more than like 130
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So so the movie takes place in the relatively late Edo period, 1844, as the shogunate is on a slow decline. And I don't know. Dude, I love this movie. I got to be honest with you. I get that it's in Japanese, and that can be hard for some people to stomach, right? And it's hard for me to stomach at points.
That makes it sound like you
Disgust me.
hate Japanese people.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant Japanese audio is what I meant. So the whole setup of the movie is somewhat slow at the beginning, but it's
Yeah.
just they're throwing so much information at you, and a lot of anytime that you see the main villain on screen in the opening of this movie, he's just a freaking despicable human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you did watch the 2010 version, right? The newer one, because this is a remake of an older 60s movie. That's
Yes, because
Okay.
I googled it really quick, and it was like, oh, this like 1960s. I'm like, I did not just watch a movie from the 60s. Like,
Okay,
if
okay.
that was from the 60s, I'm really really impressed.
right.
But it's a samurai movie, and like they've made them forever, and they do kind of, in my mind at least, blend together. So I was like, maybe it could have been, but then I was like, no, I remember Chad saying they remade it.
Yeah. So yeah, what'd you think? Because I know you're a villain guy, right? You like the baddies in the movies sometimes. What'd you think of this guy?
This guy is like utter trash. Like he's
Yeah,
just
man.
annoying on so many.
Yeah.
Like he's not a good villain. He's just like trash. Like
Right.
he
Yeah.
just needs to die.
Yeah. Just when they bring out the girl that he like cut her legs and arms off and tongue out, and she's like
a potato.
writing on that piece of paper with the dude. It's just brutal. And then when he's got the bow aimed at the family, and it's like they're all tied up, and they're like little kids shivering. I'm like, dude, this is brutal. Like, what is
Yeah.
this dude doing? Like,
Well, the wife was like in the room for the first like watch session where it goes through a lot of that brutalness. She's like, "What are you watching?" I'm
Yeah.
I'm like, a brutal samurai movie. Chad told me I needed to
yeah,
watch.
it's
She's
funny
like,
because
"Jeez."
I got the same response from the guys at the fire department too. Like they walked in on me watching it at in the day room, and they're like, "What the hell are you watching?" I'm like, "This is a samurai movie. Just sit down and watch it. I
Calm down.
promise you're gonna enjoy it." But the setup is good, and I always wish that I could find like just a chill samurai movie where they're just like traveling. You know what I mean? No violence. It's just like a chill drama in this time zone. This doesn't seem to be a lot of them like that. But literally the last maybe hour 45 minutes of this movie is straight action all the way.
Oh, yeah.
From the last, I mean, all the way to the end, really, the very end of the movie. But yeah, dude, there's just so many iconic scenes, and And my absolute favorite scene, I mentioned in the episode last week, but when that lady writes that thing down, she writes down total massacre because they asked what happened to your family. He did this to you. What happened to your family? She wrote down total massacre. And at the end, when they ambush this guy and his army, they hold up that sign. It's just such a cool, like, and it says total massacre as they're like trapped in this little area. Dude.
That's what's fun about because obviously like the gang, the 13, right? They're all like super fun. Like half of them are kind of like they blend in, but there's like 6 of them that are pretty noticeable and like cool. But like the 2 like elder samurai, like those dudes are just like gangsters.
Yeah,
and,
man. Yeah.
The way they're like kind of hounding him down, like kind of calling him out before they like jump down with their swords was just awesome.
Yeah.
And it, you know, back to my previous comment where like obviously anime lends itself better for this type of portrayals. This movie did a really good job in terms of like they're kind of like superstars, like they're doing kind of pretty incredible feats.
Yeah.
Lots of like not parkour, but like they're just using the environment to their advantage, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, definitely. I also I think the reason that this movie always makes my list when I'm watching samurai movies is because there is so much action. And in most samurai movies, you know, they build to a duel, and then the duel usually ends in a single strike with the sword, which is probably realistic, but not very entertaining to watch action wise. This movie doesn't. I mean, at the end, it gets to that point, but there's like a legit battle here. Like, I don't want to say Battle of the Bastards from Game of Thrones style battle, but it's a massive battle going on in this village. And the way they set it up with the traps and the bulls that were on fire running through, it's just like, it's wild, so cool. Mike. Yeah, it's so cool. And it just shows that, and I believe this is actually based off of a true story. I could be wrong by that.
Yes.
But yeah, dude, it's just a cool freaking story, man. Like these 13 guys.
Got Darth Vader hallway scene.
Yeah.
You got like some Assassin's Creed, like I'm going to run up on this roof and jump back down and kill a bunch of you because that's how it works.
Yeah. It's just a freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
And then like
such a good job.
When it builds to the final fight between the two samurai, not the bad guy, but the guy that's protecting him. You know, super cool samurai duel going on there. And then the main good guy, and I can't remember the actor's name. I enjoy him in everything I see. It's Koji something. I don't know. I wish I could say it with the elegancy of Jake when he spouts out Japanese
or your
stuff,
son.
but I can't. Or my son, yeah.
Exactly.
My 8-year-old. There's an idea. Have Brady and Jake on an episode.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So when it builds to that, you know, the good guy wins, cuts the head off of the bad guy, and then the actual villain of the movie literally walks over and kicks the dude's head that's been protecting him the whole movie.
Yeah.
And I remember just being like, holy crap, dude, this guy, like, if there was any doubt at this point in the movie that he is just the scum of Japan, that was it. Like that is something that I would imagine is incredibly disrespectful back then. Specifically, it'd be disrespectful now if you did it, obviously, but back then when it was very, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like, that's just a shitty thing to do, man. Like that dude just died for you.
Yeah.
He walks over and kicks his head like a freaking soccer ball.
As a villain, he has some redeeming lines and moments there in the later parts of that battle where he's kind of like talking about, oh, wow, like this is glorious, like combat, war. Like we're going to, like once I'm like advising the Shogun, we're going to bring back the age of war.
Right.
And then he's talking about like the elegance of one-on-one combat. I'm like, okay, he kind of gets it. But like the undercut there is that like this dude doesn't do any of that himself. He hides behind like 200 people to like, and he just wastes them.
Exactly. He just does all the scummy stuff and then lets them clean it up. And that's what's the most annoying thing about this character. But I do like that it's a very like by the books. There's not really any kind of mythical stuff in there, but there is one aspect where, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he's the like hunter that they find in the woods that's throwing the rocks. at one point in the movie, he gets a sword straight through his neck, right? And he's dead. You think at the end of the movie, he comes back. He's perfect. He's fine. There's no wound. He's just like, hey, I'm going to go find my girlfriend and hang out. And just runs away.
Mistress.
Yeah, his mistress.
Well, I wonder, is that has anything to do with what's that game that's coming out where you're basically playing as the myth? That's based in China though, isn't it? The mythical like monkey.
Oh yeah, Black Wukong or something. I think.
Yeah,
Wukong. Or, yeah.
So I didn't know if he was like some sort of like kind of like myth like that. Like he just wanders the wilderness and is just.
Yeah, it does seem that at least in a lot of the Japanese oriented stuff that I've watched, that being immortal was like a thing that either samurai were after or interested in. So I see why it's in here. I thought it was a cool scene, even though it's like the rest of the movie is very like I could have seen it going exactly like this in real life. That scene at the end was just cool, that he just pops back up and he's like totally fine. Like he did just get the sword thrown through his neck. But yeah, man, I hope you like it. I hope you liked it. I know it's tough to watch a full movie in this caliber in a totally different language. It does have a horrifyingly terrible English dub on Tubi. So if anybody wants to watch it with an English dub, I'm pretty sure that like whoever runs Tubi just sat down and did it, because they're like, there's like points.
All the voices.
In the Blade of the Immortal movie that I was talking about earlier, the live action one also has the same kind of English dub on Tubi. Dude, they're like, you can tell they're reading. You can tell they're losing their place while they're reading, because they like pause and like, it's just like, but man, if I want to watch it while I'm laying down and chilling out, it's easier.
Yeah. Where can you find the original, like non-dubbed?
The non-dubbed one. What did I say, Nick? It was on Prime.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I also like that I finally did this, because there's just, I mean, I probably haven't seen like any like actual samurai movies. At least for like memory. Yeah. So I want to go down that path and like watch the actual like notable Japanese samurai movies. But luckily I've already gotten over the whole like dub versus sub thing with like Attack on Titan. Like I can just watch sub. I watch Atlanta subbed. Just because
they talk like in whispers. So
exactly. Everything's so
actually
quiet.
I heard him speak on that, and he basically said, they wanted it to feel as real as possible. Like that's just how you talk, right? Like
true.
You talk in that voice, so they're reciting their lines in a normal talking voice, and that also means whenever they like get excited or like angry and like take their voice up a notch, like it just makes it that much more effective, because you're used to like the very low toned.
I can appreciate that if that's done on purpose, but like Tenet in the theater, where it very clearly was not done on purpose. Somebody screwed the mixing up on the audio.
Yeah, that's rough.
But yeah, I'll build you out a more thorough list, Nick, of the samurai movies that I've enjoyed. It's going to be hard to start with this one and go, because a lot of them are from the 60s. A lot of them are in black and white, but that doesn't diminish how good they are. Like Seven Samurai is widely considered one of the best movies ever made, let alone best samurai movies ever made.
That's where I expected this to start, was like, that's where I knew I need to get to, is like these black and white, 60s older ones. Is 47 Ronin good with Keanu Reeves?
So that's like one of my guilty pleasure movies.
What's Keanu Reeves? I mean,
it's Keanu Reeves. It's samurai. It has a kind of Sekiro feel to it, because there's a lot of mythical like creatures and stuff. The movie was widely hated by audiences. I don't personally hate it. You might hate it. I mean, you just got to be prepared for what you're going in on. Like, it's not going to knock your socks off and be the best samurai movie ever made, but it is enjoyable, I think. It's just over the top.
I wonder if I've seen that. I may have seen that. But I get excited about Chad talking about making a list because it makes me think of the Star Wars like flow chart you made me, Nick. Which means I want Chad to make a samurai movie flow chart that I can follow.
Start here. Here's where it's at on the timeline.
Yeah.
Edo
Yeah, I
period.
definitely could do that. I've seen all of Kurosawa's movies, which is a very good place to start. Just put that on your list and find his samurai movies. They're
Kill
all
Bill.
amazing. Kill Bill,
great samurai movie.
It's funny because I like one of my dreams in life is for Quentin Tarantino to make an actual samurai movie. And he dabbled a lot in it. I think he'd made more of a live action anime with Kill Bill than a samurai movie per se. It's not a samurai movie. They're just swinging katanas around and they're in Japan. That's really where the difference is.
Wow.
And,
I mean,
but it's like modern day.
Described every samurai movie ever made.
But I'm saying it's like modern day. It's not the samurai movie I'm looking for that takes place in that period, like Hateful Eight or something, but in Japan.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe that was something he seemed interested in. But the Lone Wolf and Cub movies are also really freaking good. They are Quentin Tarantino movies to a T, over the top, crazy blood squirts, crazy assassins. They're great. They're all on HBO, I think. And it's funny how far those movies penetrate today's media, because the scene from Book of Boba Fett where they sit Grogu down and give him the choice between the shirt or the lightsaber is ripped directly out of Lone Wolf and Cub, where he offers his child a sword or a ball, like a children's toy, directly out of that. And I didn't even register it until Jake and I were talking about Lone Wolf and Cub. And then it clicked in my head. I was like, holy crap, that scene is directly it's ripped right out of it. It's the same exact thing. Not word for word, obviously, and the items are different, but clear inspiration.
Always choose sword, Grogu, you noob.
But that's just that's kind of got that, I don't want to say it's got that chill vibe that I was looking for, but it's literally about a Shogun decapitator that goes on the run with his little son. So it's Lone Wolf and Cub, and they're traveling through the countryside while people are trying to kill him. But it's over the top, 70s action all the way, 70s acting all the way. Quentin Tarantino cut your head off and blood squirts for 5 minutes afterwards. It's cool. It's just cool. A lot of inspiration to Kill Bill.
Where does Crouching Dragon, Flying Tiger?
It's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and that's a Chinese martial arts movie.
Yeah,
so
dude, come on,
near
Mike. Good Lord.
And now Jake really is living his comment at the end of the episode.
Yeah, he does.
Right? Yeah.
But I also loves The Last Samurai. And Tom Cruise was amazing. I feel like this always gets brought up when we talk about samurai stuff. Everyone in America is just like, "Oh, Tom Cruise, Last Samurai, let's go."
Yeah, it's funny. I really enjoy The Last Samurai as well. I read a couple articles where people were hating it because it has a quote white savior in it. But that they clearly didn't watch the movie, because he doesn't save them, they save him. So I don't know what movie they were watching, but he does not save them in any capacity. He's an alcoholic who becomes a non-alcoholic and has something to fight for because of the samurai. So that makes no sense whatsoever. Stop that argument. You sound stupid.
They're thinking of The Great Wall with Matt Damon.
Yeah. I want to watch that movie so bad because it just looks so horrendous.
Well, dude, speaking of Matt Damon and period pieces, though,
if you think that's
about this one,
if you think that's all right, you might like. I haven't seen that, just from the trailer. If you think that's okay, you probably will like 47 Ronin.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you right now, I probably will like 47 Ronin, because I don't have a problem with people telling stories and things looking good on screen. And the Great Wall, like it's got its moments, but there were things about it that were really cool because they were trying. I just compliment the try, but like they did really cool things with like the different like Chinese divisions of their military were just like straight colorful. Like one unit was just straight blue, red, yellow.
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah, you're gonna love 47 Ronin, and put that on your list because it's very colorful like that as well.
Yeah, and it's got like a mythic element to it because of the enemy they're facing. So it is cool. Like, and once again, it's not like they put two white dudes as like Chinese characters. Like, no, like they're on like the Silk Road. They're travelers that just happen to get stuck in this situation. So,
and that's the same premise with 47 Ronin and Keanu Reeves, where he's kind of placed in this unwillingly, if you will. Yeah, like I said, it's a guilty pleasure of mine, but there's been very few samurai movies that I've watched that I did not enjoy.
Joe says, "Wow, my favorite samurai movie is Legend of the Drunken Master. Is that how this works now?"
Yeah.
This guy always cracking jokes.
It's cool because it's a popular misconception. I have a buddy that I work with who exclusively. I'm not even going to say what I was going to say. He recommended samurai movies for me because I was asking him like what, he's really into this kind of stuff, and he recommended Ip Man, which is not even in the same country or time frame as samurai. So.
The Karate Kid.
The Karate Kid.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's amazing.
I do want to watch that third movie because that does take place in feudal Japan, from what I hear. The third Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie from the 90s.
Dang.
There you go. I gotta say the samurai. I remember the like turtle action figures where they were like in the samurai getup, and those were so awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. But you guys talked about Matt Damon, and I wanted to. I don't know if you guys have anything in particular, period piece wise, that you're looking forward to, either that's like new, like The Northman, which I kind of want to talk about. We might actually, maybe if I can convince Nick to watch this movie, we might actually have an episode about The Northman, maybe. Hopefully.
Is it coming somewhere streaming wise?
It comes out in theaters on the 22nd. Streaming wise, I'm not sure. But you guys brought up Matt Damon, and he was just in a you could say controversial period piece called The Last Duel.
Yeah.
What
was controversial about it?
That also has Kylo Ren in it.
It's Adam got a lot of people in it. This is a Ridley Scott movie, and
interesting.
Let me look up exactly what he said. But basically, he got like really pissed at people for something about this movie.
Interesting. I actually have an Adam Driver.
Ben Affleck's in it. Good Lord.
Yeah. Oh, he is? Oh, I didn't know that.
Can't go anywhere without those two.
With those two, and yeah, right? Can't even go to medieval Europe without those two. I don't know where it takes place. Might not even be. Sounds like it should.
Oh. So there's drama. You're looking up what the drama was.
Okay. He said, so it kind of bombed at the box office. And he said the box office failure is the fault of young people and their cell phones.
Oh, wow. What the hell does that mean, bro?
Budget 100 million, box office 30 million.
Yeah, that's what it was making me laugh over here. That's brutal, bro. And I do want to point out, if it wasn't for those freaking cell phones, we wouldn't even know about this damn movie. Let's be real, okay?
Did he say
why? I barely even knew about it with my cell phone.
I thought it was a direct to HBO Max thing. I was like, oh look, looks like a cute, fun movie with some big name actors. They're trying to be Netflix.
So he says, no, Disney did a fantastic promotion job. the bosses love the movie because I was concerned it was not for them, but they really liked the movie, so their advertising, publicity, etc., was excellent. I think what it boils down to, what we've got today, are the audiences who are brought up on these effing cell phones. The millennium do not ever want to be taught anything unless you are told it on the cell phone. This is a
Wow.
broad stroke, but I think we're dealing with it right now with Facebook. There is a misdirection that has happened where it's given the wrong kind of confidence to this latest generation, I think.
Sounds drunk as hell.
Boomer as hell is what it sounds like.
I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't
It's all
like
the Facebook's fault.
yeah.
I mean, it was 2021. It wasn't a Marvel movie. Not that any Marvel movies came out in 2021, but like that's just a hard case to crack. Did you think it
Yeah,
was like
dude.
Russell Crowe and Gladiator or like
Yeah.
Brad
Right.
Pitt and Troy?
it's
Like,
a
come
hard
on,
sell.
Matt Damon.
Yeah.
We all know
Well, like
Matt Damon. Like-
theaters are just coming back, right? And then you're gonna plop out. I mean, I'm probably gonna love it. It's a 2.5
Yeah.
hour like historical drama. It's like right up my alley.
Yeah.
But that's not necessary. And I think if it was a 2.5 hour historical drama about Vikings in theaters, it probably would have smashed because Vikings are like, the rage right. They're the Fortnite of historical pieces at the moment. But yeah, I mean, like, what do you think's gonna happen? It's not a superhero movie, and like almost every movie that's not Spider-Man, or I don't even know if any other movie really
Comes out.
compares. The Batman,
Yeah.
it's gonna fail, quote unquote, fail at the box office. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben Affleck's over there like listening to Matt Damon complain about the last duel bombing. He's like, bro, how's the Batfleck? And like barely anyone cared. Stop complaining.
yeah, but it wasn't even Matt Damon complaining. That was Ridley Scott complaining.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he he went all boomer on everyone.
Poor
Those
Ridley.
damn kids and their cell phones and Facebook. That's why my movie didn't make any money.
He's trying to teach people stuff.
Yeah, I do want to watch it though.
Oh yeah. It looks good. It's on my
HBO
watch
Max,
list.
so-
Hey, I have HBO, I mean,
Yeah.
I-
Somebody
I've
doesn't want to
been-
pay for
I've
it.
been HBO-less for a while, you guys. Just saying. I heard yours was a communal account anyways, Nick, and you're just holding out.
So
on
yeah,
it.
so is mine.
I'm just the keeper of the password. That's all.
Oh, you're just the keeper of the most important part of it. That
That's
would
why
allow people in.
that's why I get an honorary seat on this account because
Honoraries.
like no one's like I keep the password. So like no one's gonna like knock me off the account because
Well,
they're
they
gonna
can't.
they can't. I have the password.
Yes. But I'm very hyped for the Northman. Like, Chad, you sounded pretty hyped about it.
Yeah, man, it looks really good. It's getting good reviews.
Trash
like
cans, big hype on it.
like I
Is
said,
he?
not really up my alley, but it looks really good. But
I
I'm
think
not
it's an A24 movie too, which makes me excited.
not something that I would go to the theater for. So I'm gonna need it.
Boo.
I'm gonna need it somewhere else. I didn't realize Ethan Hawke was in it.
Look at the IMDb page for this movie, please. I'm gonna post it in the chat here. Look at Alexander Skarsgård's picture on IMDb. It's great.
Alexander. Oh wow.
He's
in a
not wearing
tuxedo with
pants.
No pants.
What on earth?
Nicole
He's still
Kidman,
he's
Ethan
still working
Hawke.
from home, man.
Yeah. William Dafoe. It's got a lot of people in it.
It does. Yeah, it does.
But see, Mike, this is where what you're saying, like the cheese, like where you felt like Valhalla was like a different level of cheese and like where Last Kingdom isn't. This
Mhm.
is how movie trailers come off to me. Like movie trailers just look cheesy to me.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that. I'd
They're
love
just-
to unpack that.
They're just like I think because it's so abridged. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't. It's like almost like, where are these characters coming from? Like, why are we so riled up about these people? Like, I need more backstory. I don't know. It's just.
I think that's where like watching the movie comes into play.
Yeah, but it being a movie, like it's gonna focus on more of like eccentric, like big elements, and not gonna ground them in reality because it's a movie. Because you don't have to.
Sure.
But that's why people like movies. But just from like a trailer perspective, it just had like certain levels of cheese in it. I'm also not being sold on Nicole Kidman playing the same character she's played in the last 5 things she's played.
She should be good at it, at least, hopefully.
Yeah, she's good at it. But she's really leaning into this. I really think she's some sort of sorceress at this point.
Art imitates life, I've heard.
Yes, she's doing a lot of peyote, I think, is what is the rundown.
She's just becoming the Michael Cera of middle-aged women. Very typecast these days. Also, looking up the Northman on Google, I scrolled down and where I gotta find it. I scrolled down too far. There's the Northman barber in New York, which I thought was interesting.
It's just them cutting hair.
Skarsgård with no pants on, cutting your hair with his Viking axe.
Man, I really want to go watch like Gladiator or Troy right now.
Yeah, I haven't watched those movies since I've been into these kind of movies. Like I was not into those kind of movies when I watched those. I really do need to go back and
then even like the last Kingdom of Heaven, great movie. Director's cut. It's like 4 hours long.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. That one didn't do good at the box office, but I think they missed on a few like key things there just to interest people.
I gotta be honest with you. The older I get, that's almost like I'm gonna like this movie if it didn't do good at the box office. You know what I mean? Because literally the last couple movies that I have on my list did not do good in the box office.
Yeah.
So
looking for those sleepers.
Yeah, and they might not be sleepers. Maybe they are really terrible. I just like them, you know? So
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you like what you like, man. Don't be ashamed. Are you guys familiar with or have any specific feelings about the A24 studio and their movies? Because I believe they're doing I believe the Northman is an A24.
I feel like I keep hearing it come up or like seeing it at the beginning of movies and stuff, but I don't know that I could name.
So we talked about Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh,
right?
that's
an A24 movie.
Yeah.
Ooh, After Gang, Colin Farrell, he looks like a hard ass in this movie.
The Green Knight, which I don't know if any of you have seen, but that's definitely on my list of movies I really want to watch, is an A24 movie. Uncut Gems, honestly, is an A24 movie. The Lighthouse, Midsummer. I'm scrolling through their website right now.
The Death of Dick Long.
They're kind of like smaller. Mid 90s was a.
I want to watch The Green Knight. Yeah, okay. I kind of see what they're going for. Like they kind of got these offbeat.
They're super weird, kind of probably more artsy than your mainstream film. It's just like a very big indie studio kind of, which kind of defeats the purpose of it being indie if it's a studio. One of my favorite
indie.
The small indie movie company. The Killing of a Sacred Deer is a great movie, and it is so weird. Has Colin Farrell and Nicole Kidman in it. She's not playing a sorceress in this movie though, Nick. So you might like it. Actually, the Barry Keoghan, who had the very short screen time as the Joker in the Batman, he is in Killing of a Sacred Deer, and he is completely unhinged.
Was that in the Batman or was that cut from the Batman?
I don't want to like spoil anything.
Okay.
Are you
Don't
okay?
don't
Do you want me to tell you anything or no?
Yeah, go for it. To be honest, I might not ever watch it.
Whoa. Are you okay with this, Nick?
No, I'll just mute you.
No, okay. Just
All right.
Discord it. Just
I
Discord.
muted him. He can talk all he wants.
But I can't hear him.
Oh, okay. Tell us the wealth of your knowledge.
No. I
Just mute you.
I was hoping he would go on like a
No.
spiel right
Yeah.
there.
I won't tell him. Or I won't say here. I'll tell him in Discord or something.
There you
Which,
go.
by the way, can we just take a moment to recognize Chad's use of Discord lately?
Shout out.
Yes. He's been
Yes.
messaging in our group DM, and he's
Mhm.
also been making an appearance in the server itself. I mean, he's
Yeah.
even got his own fan
Insane.
club forming in
I
there.
did. I got a
It's,
new fan yesterday
man,
during
it
the
is just-
Sifu stream.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Fucking
directly, of all people, have like actual fans. Like
Yeah.
they're like, they come and they're like, "Yo, where's that
Where's
guy?"
Chad?
We're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it's Chad. Yeah, Chad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah."
Where's the dude that was streaming Sifu?
I mean, you're like level 6.
Yeah.
yeah, he's
moving
getting
up.
there. He's
Moving
getting
up.
there. What's
I'm
that
gonna
make
reset.
him? He's Hulu now.
Yeah,
You-
I'm gonna
you made
reset
it-
his XP.
I feel
Ooh.
like we need to consider renaming the tiers. Like we all hate Hulu. That should be the bottom tier. Like the CW should get out of there. We should put Hulu on the bottom,
Disney.
Yeah,
and then
but
like
gotta
Disney
be-
Plus or Apple TV as like the new Hulu.
Yeah, those need to go in there, but I would okay, if you're gonna take the CW out, that makes sense.
Yeah. So right now, if you guys are totally lost at what we're talking about,
Which you probably
one,
are.
you need to join our Discord because
Step 1.
that's where this all happens. But two, in our Discord, we have like a leveling system. So like
level up.
as you participate, you get experience, you level up, and we have roles in the Discord. I don't know why I air quoted that because they are roles. But it's basically just a title and a fancy color on your name. We have different groupings. So like levels 0 to 4 are considered the CW because that's a pretty garbage channel. Then 5 to 9 is Hulu, I think, and then 10 to 14 is Prime, and then 15 to 19 is Netflix, and then 20 and above is HBO, I think.
Me and Mike.
I think what we do is we cut out CW, shift Hulu and Prime down. So Hulu is the new starting zone.
Yeah.
Prime is the next zone, and then we either slide in Apple or Disney in the place
That way it's all streaming
like
services.
the third tier, because
Yeah.
I still think Netflix is second highest and HBO for us is the highest. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
I don't know. Anyone out there listening, do you think first decide between Apple Plus and Disney Plus?
Which
And
plus?
then once that's decided, are either of those services better than Hulu and Prime? I think we all agree that Hulu is by far garbage tier.
Well, we do know that Ugly Joe, his least favorite episode, is the one where Chad was sick. So,
You mean the episode where he was?
Oh no.
and
I
that's
love
why.
how I love how it got like
I love-
you
I-
saying "oh no" like
Yeah,
right before
yeah.
that happened.
And I love
Oh,
that you
no.
are so quick to pull that out, but you can't do the
I missed
Star
the
Boys
Star
thing
Boys. I
every
missed the Star
newscast.
Boys.
You got that stuff like on your desktop just ready to click or what?
Well, what access does Chad have to StreamYard?
Same
Because-
as us.
Oh, yeah, it's just in the brand tab. They're all all the videos are saved over there. I got this one saved still. Sorry. We got this one. Breaking news.
Oh, that's an oldie.
That is an oldie. We need to redo the image on that. And then, of course, welcome to Star Boys.
The
There was
one
a
he
slight
just can't
delay in
find.
that. There's a slight delay in that. You're like, and of course, pause.
Yeah, it's just something with it, man. You got
Yeah,
like a
see?
brain
Yeah,
block that
exactly.
won't allow you to click it.
Yeah. But you guys, sorry. You guys just got a tour of the Showboys soundboard back
There
here.
you go.
Joe, I love how you just have that queued up. I do,
Yeah.
man. I look for any excuse to
Any.
do that. It's mainly because the artwork is so pristine. It took me a long time to make that picture. And we did post it in our art department Discord channel with that OG BB8's in, who is an amazing artist and helps us out with some of our stuff. And I think I made her actually literally vomit when she saw that. So
I just can't get over that you screen grabbed a ping image with the like transparent
With the
background
transparent
squares
background, yeah.
and then made it a JPEG.
Yeah.
It's great. Like
my
that's just
art,
awesome.
see, I'm just big booming over here.
It's great.
Yeah.
I love
And you're like, just go into your config files and then you can open it in Steam. And I'm just like,
Yeah, don't feel bad, dude,
Yeah.
because Nick and I had a conversation about before I did the episode with Brady. I wanted a Showboys podcast. Well, what are they called? I don't even know what they're called. Like the
overlay.
overlay.
yeah.
I still need
Because
to
we
make
have one
that.
for gaming, we have one for everything else except for just Showboys podcast.
Mhm.
And I tried to make it myself, and I think I tried for like an hour. I had like 2 or 3 strokes during it, and then I just gave up.
Oh man. Ex
Yeah.
Machina is another A24 movie. I'm still scrolling through the list, by the way, guys, as we're having these Tusk, Kevin Smith movie.
Yeah, we were on a period piece episode here at some point.
Yeah. We were. Spring Breakers.
Whoa.
That's a great period piece right there. Looks like A24 movies started in 2013.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
Rather new then, huh?
There's that.
Join the Discord.
Join the Discord. This episode is so off the rails. You bet, dude. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
You guys have been
Welcome to
spoiled. Those
Showboys.
of you guys who have recently joined. For a couple months we've had a lot of really good like on the rail episodes. This is how
Yeah.
they usually are.
This is it. This is a normal
they
episode. Yeah.
evolve into just garbage. Have you guys been playing any period piece games? We've
Sekiro.
already talked about Valhalla. Of course, Chad with Sekiro and Ghosts for the 30th time probably in 2022.
Close. Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Nick? Do you have time for games these days?
No, just Sekiro. Last Kingdom. Yeah, and I've been trying to keep up for like our other stuff, but not a lot going on over here, unfortunately. Sekiro just made me so sad. Like I'm like, why does someone choose to die so much? Like how is this fun?
Have you ever played a Dark Souls game?
But hell no, dude.
No.
Like,
Dude, I
why
tell
would
you,
do that.
Trust me, there are no lower lows than a From Software game, but you will have the greatest highs of any game that you'll ever play when you finally get that damn mini boss down. I assure you, it's addicting.
But I play games to be like relaxed,
Chill, yeah.
and no highs.
Yeah,
no
that's not
lows.
this.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
You just want nothing.
I
Nothing,
just want to exist like
Yeah.
in a nice land
Which
with like a
explains why you
sword.
like Civ so much.
Yeah, dude, peaceful. Like there's wars, but they're slow. They're turn based.
Yeah.
Did you ever get Timberborn? Because I feel like you'd love that game.
Oh yeah, I would love that game, but I have many games like it, so
True.
I can chill elsewhere.
Chad, I gotta throw this out there because I've been emulating this game periodically. There's a Pokemon game called Pokemon Conquest, and it is a tactics game. Just talk about Pokemon, Nick.
Just
Leaves.
dips.
But it takes place in like
It's a tactics like triangle strategy.
Like Final Fantasy Tactics, but you play with Pokemon.
Oh boy.
And you're like a warlord and going and fighting other kingdoms, and so it's like very samurai-esque.
Oh.
It's super cool. I think it was a DS game, but
Pikachu the samurai sword.
I don't have a DS, so I have an emulator on my PC,
Yeah.
which is totally legal.
I do want to point out that it is really odd because I did look for it. Most of the tactical RPGs or any of the RPGs, Final Fantasy, all that stuff, most of those, if not all of them, are made by Japanese studios, right?
Mhm.
But none of them, there's not a tactical RPG or a turn-based RPG that I could find, at least, that revolves around feudal Japan in any capacity. It's so bizarre. It's like hundreds of Japanese studios making these games, but none of them are taking on their own history. It's so bizarre to me. It feels like such a missed opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I mean, that is and that's like what I want. We talked about this last week. That's what I want more is like Japanese period pieces. Like,
Yeah.
that's what we need more of.
Yeah.
Because there's such a wealth of history in that chain of islands, and no one like really wants to dig into it, like in a drama sense.
Yeah, it's weird. Like they don't even want to do it for some reason. Like I feel like I'm hopeful that the popularity of Sekiro and Ghost of Tsushima will make studios a little more apt to make those kind of games, especially like that Japanese game that I bought back in the day that was all in Japanese. Like that studio needs to make another one of those games, the Yakuza studio. And I think they saw the popularity of Ghost of Tsushima and even said they are interested in porting those games to America. But they said originally the reason they didn't do it, the first one revolves around Miyamoto Musashi, a famous samurai, well-known samurai. Second one is another lesser known, probably in America, historical figure. But they said people in America aren't interested in these. They wouldn't understand them because they're, you have to be Japanese to get them. I'm like, what the hell? Like, no, like we've been like maybe it doesn't even make sense.
See, I think maybe that might have been true 20 years ago, but I think now, there's, and I don't know if this is true. I'm not going to pretend I understand like Japanese culture. This might be a good Jake question, but maybe just like what's popular over there isn't like their violent past as a country, as a people, and that's just is a little offsetting to maybe the boomers over there. But I definitely think like there's an appetite for that in America because we love violent histories of everyone. Even ourselves, right? I mean, we glorify like the Wild West, like like that's just the greatest thing ever. So, I just feel like we have an appetite for mega ultra violent samurai history. Like, let's dig into it. Let's go.
That's why it's so bizarre that those two Yakuza spinoffs that take place in feudal Japan, they were just like, they wouldn't be interested. They wouldn't understand what's going on here. Like, no, I made an account to try and buy this game in Japanese. So please give it to me in English.
Do explain it to us so we do understand.
Yeah, please do.
10 seasons.
I do want to bring up something totally off the rocker, but
no way.
I pre-ordered a Steam Deck because I played my buddies at work, and dude, this thing is freaking amazing.
I had a feeling about it. I don't know much about it, but
amazing. If we go back to our episode where we did our game pitches, remakes or whatever, I pitched the Persona 3 remake / remaster.
Right now,
I don't even need it because you can run a freaking emulator on the Steam Deck and play the original Persona 3. Totally
get RetroArch. RetroArch is a great emulator that you can get on Steam.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what I use.
So
it's awesome.
There's whispers in the wind that they are remaking Persona 3. However, I'm sick of waiting, so I'm giving them till October, which is when my pre-order will allegedly ship, to give me that, and then I'm just going to play it on the Steam Deck. Dude, he was running Arkham City at 60 FPS on this thing. This thing's immaculate. Like, don't get me wrong, this thing's amazing. I hear there's issues with some games, and some games aren't supported. Arkham City is not supported, but it's running at 60 FPS, which is freaking crazy on a handheld.
They have it listed like what's verified as fully functional, what's like functional but not completely there, and then what just like doesn't work.
Yeah, but Arkham City doesn't work, but it's literally running it better than the PS5 version of the game. So it's not a complete list right now, obviously.
Yeah,
right.
I think Nick's about to purchase his first handheld.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, because I can play Civ on it. Yes. I can play Valheim on it.
Yep,
that's it.
Yeah,
like,
dude, that's all. Yeah,
I stay in bed the whole time.
Yeah,
same price as a Switch, I think. Maybe a little bit more than a
There's
Switch.
Like 3
I can't remember
options.
if it's $299 or $399.
Aren't there like 3 options?
Significantly bigger than the Switch. I'm talking significantly bigger.
Nice.
But dude, yeah, it's just awesome, man. It's sweet to be rocking Arkham City, and he was playing the new Lego Star Wars game on there. Looked amazing, ran amazing. I was blown away by it, to be honest with you.
That's awesome. Dude, if I had a Steam Deck and was able to play Valheim portably, I would never leave the toilet.
There's a 400, there's a 530, and a 650 version.
I spit green tea. Yeah, you spit green tea all over myself on that one.
Oh, dude, because could you imagine how many trees I would chop down, Nick?
650 is a lot.
Yeah, I'm not
PlayStation.
From my look of it, he got the $399. He got the $399 one. That's what I'm talking about. I think it's just storage, I thought, but maybe
it's not. So $399 is 64 gigs of storage and just like a more baseline like speed and performance. Whereas the 530 has like faster storage, and then the 650 is like the fastest storage because it has like a really fancy hard drive in it. That's the big thing. But then it's got like premium anti-glare etched glass. So there are little things, but it sounds like you can get away with $399.
Yeah, that's what his is. That's what I played, was the $399 version. It in my eyes, at least, and I'm saying this as I love my Switch. It's a Switch killer, dude, because it's not only can you play all the, I don't want to say all Steam games,
Steam library though,
your
dude.
Steam library,
that's nuts.
But you can also put a freaking emulator on it and run whatever you want because it's just a PC. You can literally go into a desktop mode and it's just a PC.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, dude, it almost seems too good to be true, but I held it in my hands and played on it, and I can assure you it's not by the looks of it.
That's awesome.
5 months down the road, could it be? Maybe.
Now
I posted a link to Conquest, by the way, in our chat, so you could look it up, Chad, and I accidentally posted it in our comments section, so anyone watching the stream can check out that link too if they would like.
The biggest thing does seem like 64 gigs versus like 256, then 512. Like 64 on a PC in Steam, like that's unless you're playing like AAA games. Well, if you're playing AAA games and like that kind of stuff, but if I'm playing Valheim, like I can put like 20 Valheims on 64 gigabytes. Like it doesn't take up a lot of space.
Yeah. And you can delete stuff. So it's not like you're locked into that forever, you know?
Can we go back to Chad saying he loves his Switch, though?
I mean, that kind of just got buried.
Or the week before.
Switch killer. I heard it.
Yeah.
Switch killer.
I feel like just Switch existing was Chad's Switch killer. It's like covered in dust. He's
I made the mistake of buying it for a specific game, and I unfortunately have not dabbled too much past that specific game, which was Breath of the Wild. That's why I was trying to correct that with Triangle Strategy or Dragon Quest 11, which I'll get to eventually. But I'm telling you, dude, Sony is not going to let these handhelds keep coming out without coming up with something of their own. I know it.
Mm.
Their history shows that they can't stand Nintendo having the
Right.
market of something,
Yeah, I mean they've tried and they weren't terrible.
No,
So
yeah, I love my Vita. I play my Vita probably more frequently than my Switch. So it is a little jarringly small now by today's standards, smaller than my phone is now today. Back then it wasn't,
Dang,
obviously.
really?
Yeah, it's small.
Whoa.
Small compared to this. Yeah, I mean it's like a quarter of the Switch's size.
Dang.
But yeah, dude, check out the Steam Deck. I think it's gonna be the next hot.
We've
thing.
lost Nick. He's
He's
currently
currently
researching
deciding.
the Steam Deck.
And I figured
Um,
it's $5 to pre-order it, right? And if October rolls around and Persona 3's here and I don't have a need for it anymore, then it is what it is. But I've been waiting for that game for like 10 years, so it's probably not going to be here. So I might as well just get it and emulate it.
So since we've devolved so much away from period piece, let's go through our Answer the Boys
Yes, please do.
thing, and then we can either wrap up or continue chatting about non-period piece stuff. But we did ask you guys out there in Discord land, if there's any recent period piece shows that you've been watching or playing, what they were, what you guys think about them. And we got a reply from our good friend Ugly Kid Joe Cross, and he says, which by the way, when I read this, I was in Walmart and I literally laughed out loud. He says, I watched Turning Red. Does that count as a period piece? Shame on you, Joe. If you don't know, Turning Red is an animated movie where it's literally about a girl getting her period for the first time. So shame on you.
That is not okay.
spoilers.
That's not what it's about. I think you missed big chunks of that movie.
Yikes! Canceled.
I don't know why that keeps coming up. That's not
Yeah.
what the movie's about. There's literally one scene where the mom thinks that's what's happening.
No, Chad, that's what it's about. Okay.
Okay.
You shush. How historically accurate is Pirates of the Caribbean? Watching Last Kingdom with the wife, and we both love it. Just finished Vikings Valhalla the other night, and it was good as well. A lot of Viking shows these days, which is pretty cool because I never knew I would enjoy a show about Vikings. Well, I gotta ask, since you're in chat here, because you just said, Chad wants a PS Vita 2, which
Yes. Yeah.
true.
100%. It's
There you
coming.
go. Heard it here first. Since you're in chat, Joe, how do you feel Valhalla and The Last Kingdom compare with each other? If you're still out there, I'd like to see what you think about the two shows side by side. But thank you
Side by
so much, Joe, for answering the boys. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. How historically accurate is Pirates of the Caribbean?
Pretty accurate. Like word for word, exactly how it all happened.
Yeah. Especially when
Um,
Davy Jones comes out from like the bottom of the ocean.
Dude, you weren't around back then. Like, come on.
Yeah, you don't know.
You don't
True.
know. No,
Sure.
not accurate at all. I think it's probably accurate to some like period piece like concepts.
Like there were pirates at
there
one
were
point.
pirates. There was the Dutch like trading company or
People
East
have
India.
existed.
yeah. Pretty they nailed that like all in the head. They used muskets
Yeah. Okay.
and
They actually sailed their boats on water.
not to the edge and not over the edge though, unless
Oh,
you are
right.
a flat earther.
Yeah.
Hey, just want to give a random shout out to That's Strange, who had a recent episode come out, and Flat Earth came up on the show.
Did
Was
I
that
gotta
what the
say.
episode was about, or that was
about the
no,
moon.
it was
It was
about
about the
whether or not
moon.
the moon landing was fake or real.
Oh, okay.
Which I just want to put my 2 cents in. Space isn't even real. Space is fake.
Oh
dude.
gosh. Yeah.
I'm a
Please-
patriot.
please
We
stop.
landed on the moon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Slippery slope we're going
Get,
down right now.
get those flat earthers out of here. Space isn't even real.
Actually, a lot of flat earthers, that's part of flat Earth is that
Yeah.
we can't get to space at least.
Have you
There's a
ever
dome.
listened to? I'm sure you've listened to an occasional episode of Joe Rogan here or there. But have you ever heard any episodes with Eddie Bravo?
Oh yeah, dude, he's a maniac. I love
I'm
him.
pretty
Yeah.
sure he's a space is fake guy.
Yeah,
which
he is.
It is
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, dude, he's out there.
Oh my gosh, dude. So Joe says it's hard because I feel like Last Kingdom has so much more depth, but there are so many more episodes. I think Valhalla feels lighter and has more comedic moments. Yeah, I could see that. I'm also interested. Have you seen the original Vikings series? Because I too would also like to hear somebody other than Nick compare Last Kingdom and Vikings. Not that your comparison's not valid or anything, Nick. I appreciate your insight. I just for the record, that was not me that removed Nick. Usually I do that, but Nick he's been trigger happy tonight with removing himself. No, the trick is you got to remove me when I start dissing you.
That's not as fun.
Yeah.
But yeah. Eddie Bravo, he's a maniac.
So what? Why such the what was the long pause about? Were you trying to piece that sentence together?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to like come back to what we're talking
he was trying to make sure he didn't be like Eddie Bravo's totally right. Space isn't real.
Yeah, exactly. I had to make
thought
sure my true feelings didn't come out.
I thought for sure you were trying to find something to click on because that was about the right length.
That's something that I do very often too.
A non-spacer.
Somewhere your co-host Ryan is just like having a stroke.
Yeah.
Listening to me talk about stuff right now. Joe says I have not. It's in my watch list. It really hasn't interested, or I really wasn't interested in watching a Viking show, but Valhalla seemed interesting, and now I've watched it. Any more Vikings? Yes, I feel the same. That's kind of how I felt when I jumped into Last Kingdom. How's it go? It wasn't the show that I needed, but it was the one I deserved, or whatever they say in Dark Knight. About Batman,
more or less. You nailed it.
But we've gone so far off the rails tonight. I think it's probably a good time to wrap up. So
yeah,
kill it.
Yeah. Pull the plug.
Thank you guys for coming and hanging out, listening to us talk about our topic for about 30 minutes before we
it was an hour
completely into left field.
Steam Deck.
Yeah, we appreciate all you guys.
I mean, their website's awesome too.
Joe and Underfunded and BioCiv and everyone else that's been hanging out. Jake, thanks for stopping by and commenting along. It means the world to us. And it makes our show so much more fun. If you haven't already, jump in our Discord. We have a link in the episode description. It's probably the best place where you can stay up to date with everything that's going on with Showboys and get to conversate with fellow listeners of the podcast and friends of the show and stuff. There's always something going on in Discord, and it's a cool place to be. And we're going to be redoing the the ranks apparently, so we definitely need your input on that. Check out our patreon.com/showboyspodcast. Make sure you tune in to our stream team partners, BioCiv and Peace Love Ames. Go find them on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook. And also check out Ugly Kid Joe Cross. He's a pretty fantastic streamer himself. He streams very regularly, and my goodness, what a sweet guy he is. You will not be disappointed.
What a sweet young lad.
Yes. Plus he wears this really cool red hat all the time when he streams, and I love it. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to stop rambling. You guys have a great night. Subscribe. See you next week.